Hi, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Our devotion for today, February 23rd, 2021, is from the Gospel of John, the second chapter, verses 13 through 22. It's where Jesus cleanses the temple. Verse 13 and following. The Passover of the Jews was at hand, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple, he found those who were selling oxen and sheep and pigeons and the money changers sitting there. So our setting is Passover, one of the holiest festivals of the Jewish year. Jesus goes into Jerusalem and goes to the temple. There he finds business transactions taking place inside the temple. Merchants selling oxen, sheep, and pigeons for sacrifices. See, it was required that the animals that were sacrificed would be blemish-free. And the ones the merchants were selling were pre-approved by those who ran the temple. It was a money-making scheme. It provided a profit for both the merchant and for the temple. The price of this blemish-free animals came at a premium, at a cost to those people who were making the sacrifices, far beyond what it would have cost had they been able to bring their own animal. Money changers were also there to exchange Israeli or Roman or any other currency into temple currency, which included a fee. Another way the temple made money off the people. In a way, the temple acted like tax collectors, taking a fee that was beyond the cost of the items provided and thereby stealing from the people with the permission and authority of the government. But in their own hypocrisy, they can't see that they are a lot like the tax collectors. Verses 15 and 16. And making a whip of cords, he drove them all out of the temple with the sheep and the oxen. And he poured out the coins of the money changers, and he overturned their tables. And he told those who sold the pigeons, "Take these things away. Do not make my Father's house a house of trade." Well, Jesus, seeing all this taking place, especially inside the temple, gets upset. He's angry, and he drives out the merchants and the money changers. He rebukes the merchants, and he tells them not to make God's house a house of trade. For us today, we should heed the advice and not to make our churches like Wall Street or a marketplace. We're not vendors. It's a house of worship. Verse 17, his disciples remembered that it was written, "Zeal for your house will consume me," written of the Messiah. So the Jews said to him, verses 18 and following, "What sign do you show us for doing these things?" And Jesus answered them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." And the Jews then said, "It has taken 46 years to build this temple, and you will raise it up in 3 days?" But he was speaking about the temple of his body. See, the Jews at the temple, those who were in charge, and those who were, merchants, were asking, what is this sign that you might show us to validate your actions? Do you have a letter of authorization from someone in authority? What exactly can you show us that will say, yep, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing? Jesus then tells them what their sign is going to be. "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." So there it is. There's your sign. But it'll be a little while yet until it comes. While the Jews ended up challenging Jesus on his claim, since it took 46 years to build the current temple, Jesus is talking about his resurrection from death rather than a physical rebuilding program of the temple. He is talking about something yet to come. He is talking actually about the formation of not only his resurrected body, but even of the church that will come into being. Sadly, though, there will be many among those at the temple who will hear what he said and then observe or hear about his resurrection and won't believe it when it happens, just as there are people today who won't believe it either. Verse 22, when therefore he was raised from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this, and they believed the scripture and the word that Jesus had spoken. So after his death, Jesus is raised from the dead in 3 days, and the disciples remember what he said in the temple. It has come to pass, and Jesus has once again spoken the truth. My friends, today's church is not meant to be a storefront or a coffee bar or anything that takes away from those who come seeking Jesus and forgiveness and salvation. Sometimes congregations and the facilities that they're in forget this important truth. The church and the places in which it is worshiped are not meant to be money-making schemes. The buildings we worship are meant to be places free and accessible to the people who are seeking the Lord. How does your congregation measure up? Is it freely accessible to your members and to the public? Go in peace. Serve the Lord.